The gun devil is not a primal fear. It is not the embodiment of an animal in nature, or a concept of the mind. It is mankind's collective fear of its own most heinous creation. The gun devil quite literally embodies humanity's fear of themselves, of what they are capable of creating and the harm these creations cause to others. But on an even grander scale, the gun devil represents the power governments hold, how the powerful use fear to control the weak, and how we can be made to fear something that doesn't even exist. And if you want to know what I mean by all this, then keep watching the video. So if you find yourself entertained at any point during the video, then consider liking, subscribing and ringing that bell, as I cannot explain to you how much such a small action can do for this channel. And if you want to support this channel even further, then perhaps check out my Patreon. Anyway, on with the video. The gun devil, as said, is a devil that embodies mankind's collective fear of guns, something that makes it quite powerful considering how many countless people are killed by guns every year. And just the general fear the image of a gun conjures in one's mind, it's not difficult to imagine being killed by a gun. However, after the gun devil's appearance, what people fear shifted from guns to the gun devil itself. The gun devil exists in the world of Chainsaw Man as the world's boogeyman, this lurking terror that the entire population fears. In its singular attack on the world, it killed 1.2 million people, and it's safe to assume that this incident was one of, if not the highest number of casualties by a devil in a single event. This event was so destructive, in fact, it made devils across the board power up due to the fear of devils this event conjured up. In the same way that in the real world, after the events of September 11th, America became enraptured by a fear of terrorism and outsiders who they feared meant them harm, in the world of Chainsaw Man, people became even more terrified of devils due to the gun devil's attack. And like how in the real world, September 11th led to America tightening its borders, in Chainsaw Man, the attack of the gun devil led to the world's governments imposing stricter gun control and higher censorship of devil attacks. It was an event so impactful it changed how the world operated forevermore. Or at least on the surface this appears to be so, as although the public fear the return of the gun, and the government put measures in place to weaken it, the gun devil isn't going to return and it doesn't need to be weakened. Because the reason the gun devil's attack only lasted 5 minutes, and the reason it's never returned, is because it was defeated. Now I still find it wild someone or something managed to take this thing out, and I'm sure it will be addressed in the future of the story. Like maybe it's Pachita, like many theorise, but if you look at the timeline, that just doesn't make any sense. But you know, that aside, the gun was defeated. It had already lost 37% of its body from just moving too fast, and the rest was spread out between various world superpowers. The gun devil is effectively dead at this point. It poses no threat to the countries of the world, as it is now just split up pieces under lock and key by the countries of the world. The fear that it will return and attack again is a fantasy, but the public doesn't know that, and as such the fear is just as real as if the threat itself was real. But why do the governments not reveal that the gun has been defeated? Why don't they kill it when they are perfectly capable of doing so? Because a society ruled by fear is a lot easier to control. The governments prefer it this way. The fear of the gun makes their job easier. You get away with a lot more things because all you are doing is making necessary actions to protect the people from the gun. When under threat, people are more accepting to an ends justifying the means approach. You can frankly get away with a lot more without protest or unrest from the people. A society developed where everything could just be blamed on the gun. Strong devils attacking, well, they must have ate the gun devil's flesh. Terrorists with guns must have made a contract with the gun devil. All responsibility and blame can be shifted onto the gun devil, which of course makes things a lot easier for the government since they are behind many of these gun-related crimes. By controlling the production and distribution of guns, the government is also able to up their own profits. It's an easy way to knock out competitors so they can make their own weapons without issue. And well, when they sell them, just say it's the gun devil making contracts in return for money. It's just easy money for them. The existence of the gun devil and the fear it generates is nothing but wins for the government of the world. In a way, it also brings peace, at least on the surface, as everyone on Earth has a common enemy, the gun. Governments will use our own genuine fears to force their agendas and to profit. I mean, as shown by the Japanese Prime Minister and the US President, giving up the lives of their citizens is a small price to pay for the success of the nation. The ends justify the means, because it's all in the name of control, which of course is one of the biggest and most prevalent themes in the public safety arc. I mean, it's not like the antagonist is the control devil or anything. Now, Makima's endgame was world peace. It may have come by erasing concepts from the world she didn't like and ruling the world through her own control, but hey, the ends justify the means, right? And a big part of her plan involved the defeat of the gun devil. However, a very fun observation is that the government are using the gun devil to do exactly the same thing as Makima to maintain control in the name of peace. The existence of the gun unites people, and so people see devils as enemy number one rather than other people. Would people rather be in fear but actually safe, or be happy but actually in more danger? It's not an exact one-to-one comparison, but this isn't far off from how the world was before Denji defeated the gun, and after he did. The world felt liberated and safer after the Gun Devil's defeat, but in reality the world is probably less safe than before. I mean, who knows what consequences happened behind the scenes when America lost its part of the Gun Devil. Another awfully clear allegory around the Gun Devil is nuclear weapons, which is quite funny since nuclear weapons no longer exist in the world of Chainsaw Man. The Gun Devil's parts are symbolic of nuclear weapons. Even the distribution of the Gun Devil between countries quite closely matches the distribution of nukes across the world. That is because the Gun Devil functions much like nukes. We all in the back of our minds fear a nuclear war breaking out, in the same way the people of Chainsaw Man feared the Gun Devil's return. Both are world-ending threats that could be unleashed at any moment, and in the case of the Gun Devil, this is even more effective, as the more people fear the Gun Devil, or the more the government makes them fear it due to the terrorist attacks that happen with their guns, the stronger their Gun Devil piece becomes, or in other words, their personal weapons of mass destruction. Now, nukes are such a powerful and effective weapon because they are never intended to be used. This is the principle of MAD, that once one country uses them, every other country will retaliate and mutually assured destruction will end the Earth. However, for this to be viable, for us to actually fear nukes, we have to witness their power, which at the end of World War II, we sadly did. The Gun Devil's initial attack is the same. It showed the world the power of the Gun Devil, how deadly it would be if used as a weapon. Now obviously, since America actually used their Gun Devil piece in the series, and mutual assured destruction didn't occur, it's not a one-to-one comparison, but it's enough of one to make mention of. But instead of leading to the end of mankind, the Gun Devil is killed by Denji and elevates him from a hero of hell to a hero of humanity. The Gun Devil being the boogeyman of mankind is so perfect as it means that when it is defeated, it is equal to humanity as a whole being saved. Denji, by killing the Gun Fiend, lifted up the shadow of fear that cloaked humanity and threw it aside. Sure, the other parts of the Gun Devil are still around, but the truth doesn't matter, it is only what people know. And all the people know is that Chainsaw Man killed the Gun Devil and saved them from its wrath. Makima's overall plan to make Denji kill the gun and become loved, not feared, is just great in the context of the plot, but also on a thematic level, comments a lot on the nature of fear. The Gun Devil didn't come back for another attack, but people still feared it, because even if it hadn't yet, it might. It is an extension of the fear of the unknown, a fear so great it's reflected in the Darkness Devil, a primal fear. However, as soon as people can convince themselves that the gun is gone, they don't even consider the possibility it could come again. People will just accept what is easiest to understand and what will make them happy. They won't delve deeper, as ignorance is bliss. And another thing to note is how when we go to Hell in the International Assassins arc, it's mentioned the Gun Devil is just small fry compared to the primal fears that lurk in Hell, which kind of puts in perspective how lucky humanity is that these devils have never died and come to Earth. Because if the Gun Devil can bring the entire world to its knees in fear, what would a significantly more powerful devil be able to accomplish? Also, didn't know where to put this in the video, but the cool design quirk of the Gun Devil we see, the 20% owned by the US, is that it's pretty much only made up of US firearms, with the exception of a cheeky AK-47. This could reflect not only how the US have tamed the Gun Devil and made it nothing more than another weapon of their own nation, but also how we fear ourselves, since the only people that would be firing US guns would be Americans themselves. And weirdly, despite the devil having part of its body be an AK-47, Aki as the Gun Fiend doesn't use an AK-47, which is a bit weird since his name Aki comes from this name, meaning that the meme Aki-47 is actually very intentional. And do you know what else is very intentional? The use of dreams in Chainsaw Man, which is of course what we'll be talking about in the next Chainsaw Man video on this channel. Comment of the week comes from Ian Fikri, hope I'm saying that right, and yes, I can't wait to tackle Tsubasa Cat as well. And if you want to go the extra mile in supporting this channel, then consider pledging to my Patreon, where for as little as £2.75 a month, you can get your name at the end of the video, like Ikari Desu, 7SO, Ringjack9696, Dewey, and General Tonyos. So with all that said and done, I've been Seth the Sin, the Deadly Sin of Geek, and I'm signing out. Stay safe, everyone.